Deb, this is a great day, a lot of fun. A lot of people have planned for a long time for this event, and we're looking forward to a great day.
I am so excited. I'm so excited about the weather, Chris, and we're sitting here in front of Easthampton Savings Bank, our major sponsor on Main Street, and we hear sirens.
Yeah, so that's why we decided to start this thing. This is kind of a catch-as-catch-can kind of an event. Broadcasting a parade on radio is not something we've done before, but I think we're up to the task. Now, We're hearing the first sirens coming, and we'll be telling you the lineup as things go along. We want to thank, by the way, Easthampton Savings Bank, our principal sponsor, Fink & Paris Insurance, Cernak Buick, Riffs Joint, Nicky D's, Cannon Real Estate, Flurry Lumber, and Richard's Fuel and Heating of Easthampton for helping sponsor all of our 225 activities. And we'll be letting you know some of the other things that are going to be going on throughout the weekend, including tomorrow's big family fun day. And I'm here to tell there's going to be a pretty good pancake breakfast tomorrow morning over at Nonotuck Park. And we're going to talk to somebody right now who's very much involved in that.
We've got Jeff Doyle from the Silver Spoon here. He's donating the whole pancake breakfast. Tell me, how much pancake batter do you have?
16 gallons.
16 gallons. And you look like you got some of it on yourself when you were putting it together.
A little bit, yeah. This morning when I was making some, yep.
But I think that's fantastic that you are donating all that food, and just a great community event tomorrow. We're looking forward to it.
Well, Easthampton's been pretty good to me and my family, so I want a little bit of payback.
And some of the best interviews I've ever done in this city have been in your restaurant. I had the mayor over there and a couple other people, and I love going in there because that's the hub of politics right now in Easthampton.
Yeah, basically, it's been there for over 100 years, so everybody just kind of goes to the Spoon, or 73 Main Street, I guess, has been there forever.
And the history of that place, in fact, I spent most of my time in there reading the menu because you got a great story to tell historically.
Yeah, it's pretty amazing. I started researching it right after I bought the restaurant, and it goes back to 1905 that it's always been a restaurant. It's always been a restaurant in that spot.
Was it at one point a store of some kind, like I'm confused.
One of the listings was like for a paint store or something or other, but I don't really believe it because it was like a restaurant, and then it had a listing for a paint store, and then after that it had been a restaurant. So I just think it was a typo back in 1905.
No matter what, it's all good food over at the Silver Spoon. Good food, good politics, the kind of place your grandfather used to go for breakfast before he went to work.
And a generous donation by the Silver Spoon Restaurant to have this pancake breakfast, and it's his anniversary and everything. So we're going to start focusing now on upcoming parade. Jeff, thank you.
Now, they were supposed to close this street. We're still seeing cars, scattered
zooming
cars going
by
up and down. But we're hearing the sirens, which means the head car is coming up.
Yes, it is.
Now, the first car we're going to see is going to be the Easthampton Police Cruiser. Captain Emerson is going to be the lead vehicle. And then we're going to be joined by an honor guard, and then the Grand Marshal, who we'll talk more about in a couple of seconds.
Right.
But just about everybody who's anybody in Easthampton is going to be in the first leg of this parade. You got all the politicians.
That's right.
You've got the Easthampton mayor. Yeah, and the cheerleaders. We've got the St. Patrick's Parade Marshal, and just a whole host of people. And this is going to be a long parade. This could be as much as long as 2 hours potentially.
It could be. It could be.
So we're still waiting now. Now this parade begins at Easthampton High School. It snakes up to the main drag,
Union
and then
Street.
Union Street, then down to the main drag, then to Eastworks. We're
Correct.
at the last leg, so people should be coming by here probably within the next 5 minutes or so, I would
That's
say.
right. Yeah, they're going up Union Street. They're going to wrap around the corner at Big E's, and then they're going to come in front of us here by the Old Town Hall, and where we are at Easthampton Savings Bank, and end at Eastworks.
Now, this event kicked off Thursday evening with the opening ceremonies, and we had Marge Petrus on and Liz Pro on my show yesterday, and I guess that was a really special event.
Oh, my God. It was so touching. So many generations, so much history, and it was an extremely, this whole thing has been a touching event. I love this city.
Now, we had an ice cream social yesterday, and we had the beer and wine thing last night. I assume you went to that, right?
I did not go to that.
You didn't go?
I did, and I'm a chamber board member.
I thought you said you were going to go and give me a full report.
No, I'm
or as
sorry.
Much as you can
it
remember.
was sold out.
Okay, all right.
I had beer and wine tasting somewhere else.
Okay, so we're seeing the first siren, the first lights coming up the main drag here.
Just round in the corner by Big E's.
Right, we're right in front of Easthampton Savings Bank, and Big E's, of course, is a landmark as well here in Easthampton.
Oh, boy, here they come.
Yeah, now, we might get drowned out a bit by the sirens, but this is the Police Captain Emerson in the Easthampton PD Cruiser.
Yes.
This department does tremendous, tremendous work. And the thing about local police departments these days is they're not just about crime and punishment. They become many social service agencies.
Right.
And Captain Emerson and that whole crew over there at Easthampton PD, I have a lot of respect for any small-town cop. And in a small city like this, where there's even more issues in terms of different layers of things you have to deal with, that department is incredible.
And they have been a tremendous help to us with all of the people they've got working.
Now, Captain Emerson is driving the lead car with his grandchildren, Kyle, Haley, and Delaney Merrick.
That's correct. And right behind them are members of the Honor Guard, which is Rick Rogalski, Robert Puska, Dennis Scribner, and Chad Alexander.
Now, this actually, I don't think you could ask for any better conditions for a parade. It's a little bit of a breeze, not too humid, sunny, bright. Great for the people who are in the parade and great for the people who are watching it.
And great for those of us who organize this. I was tossing up prayers for the past 2 months on this one. Oh, we have people running into the street, looking at the police cruiser just to say hi. And people were lined up on the streets here. What excitement of all ages. They had chairs out at 9 in the morning.
Yeah, I mean, that's the thing about it. And the thing is, you know, with all the issues that face small cities, I mean, this really is a big town, I think, more than a small city. And
right.
We're seeing evidence of that throughout this weekend in part of 225.
That's right. And coming up, we have the Grand Marshal, Esther Mesh. She's the second oldest person in this city, born January 2nd, 1909. She attended schools here, went on to teach in Vermont. And you know what her biggest memory is? Riding her bike down the mountain with no brakes. Here she goes. She's going by us. Beautiful hat. Oh, if you're not here, we wish you were, and we hope we're helping you.
Thank goodness for the parasol, too, believe me.
Thank goodness for the parasol.
Right behind the Grand Marshal is Matt Kinlock driving a 1 Model A pickup. That is a historical vehicle, for sure.
Yep, that's Matty Kinlock.
And now, the leader of the community, Easthampton Mayor Michael Tausnick. The only Easthampton mayor in the town's history.
First elected mayor in September 1996 after a charter was passed making the mayor the chief executive officer.
Former selectman, former Conservation Commission member, and a pretty damn good interview, if I do say so myself.
And the mayor just hollered to us. He said, great parade.
Great parade, and behind him, members of the Easthampton City Council, and I am member board that the mayor helps craft a budget with. They're the ones that make the decisions on how to spend the money in this city.
And the town council replaced the town meeting as the legislative branch and consists of 4 at-large members and 5 district councilors.
And by most accounts, a good change for this city. Now behind them,
the cheerleaders.
The Easthampton cheerleaders,
Sis
20
Boomba.
strong.
Let's go. Oh, see?
There we go.
Listen.
Little cheer. And behind them, we have the Easthampton School Committee and the Easthampton Better Schools Organization.
And walking with them is Kelly Brown, Easthampton High School teacher, and she was selected as the Mass History Teacher of the Year.
Behind them, Representative John Over, Representative John Syback, and Senator Mike Knappich, the politicians in the parade today.
Their favorite radio station.
John Syback.
We're going to vote twice for him.
Yes, we are. Behind them, we have the Easthampton Fire Department members and the Sheriff of Hampshire County.
Yes, Chief David Motter. What a wonderful, wonderful guy. He helped with this. We've got Captain John Phillips. I hope I'm not screwing up Captain and Chief. Which is the higher? I'm not sure.
I think Chief leads Captain.
Okay. Chief Dave Motter, Captains Dennis Peck, Wayne Henneman, John Phillips, Steve Kennedy, Firefighter Joe Saraki.
Now, all the Easthampton fire vehicles and emergency vehicles coming through. This is a big part of the parade.
I just saw like a 3-wheel Segway go by.
Yes. I don't know if that's part of the parade or just somebody being creative.
Yes.
These are a big feature for the kids. I remember when I was a kid going to parades in Greenfield and other towns around Franklin County. I always loved the fire trucks. Because this is the chance to see these ambulances and fire trucks up close in a non-emergency situation.
And like you said, they do so much for this community. They've been so helpful with us, the executive committee members. We've been running in and out of there, whether it's for permits or this and that. They've had patience with a bunch of just plain old volunteers putting this whole thing together.
And, of course, these are the people that keep you safe in any community. I mean, the ambulance, the fire guys, and the police guys. You got to have respect and you got to pay tribute to these very, very fine people.
There are just people everywhere. This parade route was set up in a way it's different than any other parade route, and it was set up like this to interfere with the least amount of intersections, make it easier on the police, make it easier on traffic. Even though there will be a tie-up, if you're coming around the Easthampton area, you're going to want to stay away from Main Street and Union Street for a little while.
We also want to mention the St. Patrick's Parade Marshal will be coming up in a car from Cernick Buick, which is one of our sponsors of today's presentation. And certainly Cernick has been a huge supporter of the radio station over the years, as have all of our sponsors, including Easthampton Savings Bank, where we are sitting in front of right now. And thank goodness we have the tent up.
Easthampton Savings Bank's been great. We came over here a couple of days last week to set up. I had to climb through the bushes, and they just laughed along with us. They opened up the whole front stairway for us.
Hugely helpful. Now, we have a little bit of a bottleneck right now, and I think probably going around that corner to Eastworks,
yes,
you're probably going to have some moments where they're going to slow things down a little bit, which is fine. This gives people more time to look at some of these huge machines.
Right.
Some of these emergency vehicles, like that ladder truck, that's a good $225,000 right there. I mean,
right.
Very, very expensive and very, very important equipment.
Exactly. And, Easthampton was first established in 1785 as a town, and they had a board of selectmen and acting as the executive in the town meeting form of legislature. The local voters enacted their newest charter in July 1996, establishing the city form of governance. But they still retain the name town in their official name.
And that's interesting because that's one of those things.
We were just talking about this.
That has, we've had that argument in Greenfield as well, Easthampton. Some of these towns don't like the idea of going with a mayor form of government because they don't want to look like they're a city. And in fact, the way they get around in Greenfield, they call it the city known as the town of Greenfield. Here it's, I believe, the city of Easthampton, but everybody thinks of it as a town.
But everyone thinks of it a town. I call it the city by the pond. I love Nashawanek Pond.
That pond is amazing. And I told Tausnick when I was in his office one day, it's like he has the best view of the pond of anybody.
His office, windows, that and Mount Tom.
It looks like a mural of the pond and Mount Tom in the background. Not bad work if you can get a big
I'm trying
wave.
to get the fire department. There's no horn. I don't have a siren. Give me something. I'm acting up here, folks.
The ladder truck, of course, that 100-foot aerial ladder truck, I don't know how many lives that thing has saved over the years. But there we go. Now, coming up behind, as I mentioned, the aforementioned Cernick Buick car containing the 2010 St. Patrick's Day Parade Marshal, Sylvia Gallagher. And there's one other person in that car whose name is not on my list, Deb.
Cernick Buick, actually, they have a couple of cars in here. They were generous to donate that. We have a lot of places that have donated vehicles for this, whether it's farms or like Marcotte Ford to pull the 225 float. Here comes the Cernick Buick car now.
That's a nice-looking machine right there.
Isn't that cool? I'd love to have that.
Absolutely.
I think we'll have to test drive that. These are the marshals from the St. Patrick's Day Holyoke Parade.
Right.
Sylvia Gallagher is one of the marshals. The other is Mary Halford. They're driven by Steve Saviza.
All right.
Oh, we got everybody going. These kids, this is like what we wanted it to be. It's like old-fashioned. Remember when we grew up and life was simple?
Do. Well, yeah, life can still be simple every once in a while, at least
and it
for
is.
today.
That's what this celebration is all about. Oh, here we've
got some more officials. Dave Sullivan, running for DA, is out there. We've got some kids, Boy Scouts.
This is the St. Patrick's Committee walking in front of us now, looking lovely from the Holyoke.
David Sullivan.
David
How are you,
Sullivan.
pal?
He's got a red, white, and blue American flag tie on.
Dave, of course, one of two Democrats running for Northwestern DA. Elizabeth Scheibel is not running for re-election. On Monday, by the way, on my program at 9:30, we're going to have Dave's opponent in the primary, who is Mike Kahalane. Now the Junior Miss.
Here comes the Junior Miss. Vicki Pouza Allen heads this up and is followed by Easthampton's 225th anniversary float.
This, I believe, is the last year for the Junior Miss in Massachusetts. They're changing the name. They're changing the focus a little bit. So a little bit of history there. And, of course, the 225th float, driven by Mitch Petras.
Mitch Petras, God bless him.
Now, this float has some history, too, right?
This float won second place for most patriotic in the Holyoke St. Patty's Day Parade. This float was Easthampton's first float entry in 20 years. And the committee members are sitting on the float, along with Ann Francis Sullivan, one of the two scholarship winners for 2010. And Junior Miss is Danielle Glenn.
Right, and her court.
Yes, the quarter on the float.
That's a beautiful float. That must have taken some doing put together.
You know who had a lot to do with this was Clay at Mantis Graphics. It was just a whole committee.
That's one of the Bears, right?
That's one of the Bears.
Right, okay.
And look, I see WHMP sign on there.
Now, the Shriner Highlanders, got to have some bagpipes if you're going to have a parade.
This was big. Let's try to let you listen to this.
Good stuff. The Shriner Highlanders. Now behind them is American Legion float Bud Flynn, the commander of the American Legion post. Ed Barucki, the well-known Pearl Harbor veteran.
Yes.
He'll be coming up behind us in the convertible momentarily. This is the Legion post right here.
This is the Easthampton Legion float.
I'll tell you, those guys saved our country in World War II.
Freedom isn't free.
It is not free.
Right?
Absolutely not.
God bless the vets. They're waving to us.
And Bud Flynn is the commander. How's it going, gentlemen? And then behind them, Ed Barucki, probably the best-known local Pearl Harbor survivor.
94 years old. He's in a beautiful, look at that Mercedes he's in.
He was recently honored in Washington, D.C. as one of a handful of Pearl Harbor survivors at the new World War II Memorial in D.C. Good guy.
Look, people are cheering as the vets are going by saying thank you.
As they should. And behind them, the Vietnam vets, Leo Doobie, the military Jeep. That's
1968. 1968 military Jeep. Oh, we're getting riled up. We have the Legion riders coming on all their bikes.
Yeah, behind them, that's the American Legion motorcyclists, 10 strong Legion riders.
Oh, boy, it's going to get loud, folks. They're moving right along. For a parade of this size?
It's popping. But, again, they have the bottleneck over here, so there will be some moments where we'll have some delays.
And with Deb Hamill and Chris Collins with WHMP, and we're giving live coverage of the Easthampton 225 Parade in front of Easthampton Savings Bank. Oh, here come the motorcycles. I'm waiting for them to misbehave.
One of the most moving things you see every Memorial Day in D.C. is what's called Rolling Thunder, where you have veterans from all across the nation on motorcycles rolling into the nation's capital en masse.
I'm giving the signal to rev it. There you go.
You're just causing trouble, Deb. You're getting them to rev their engines.
Let's hear it.
How are you, gentlemen? How's it going? Behind the motorcyclists coming into view momentarily on your TV screen is the Easthampton Chamber of Commerce. And Eric Snyder and the director, all wearing the famed limited edition Easthampton 225th T-shirts.
Correct.
Of course, that Chamber of Commerce, and I know, Deb, you're a part of it.
The Chamber of Commerce that I'm a board member on.
Unbelievable work in this community.
We got Pat Brough. We have everybody here. Happy birthday, they're saying. Well done. I promised I wasn't going to yell on the air, but I had to give a shout out on that one. This is fantastic. We've got Lathrop Community right now. They've been a part of Easthampton since 1996. It's a home to 132 residents, and the Easthampton campus has 61 townhomes, and the inn has 59 apartments. And behind them, the Red Hat Society, one of my favorite groups. The Mad Red Hatters with 25 members. Queen Mother Marcia Doobie. And there's 2 more cars from Cernak Buick. Oh! The Mad Red Hatters are screaming at the crowd. They're getting wild. They have their purple on with the red hats, because what is that saying? When I become older, I'm going to wear a purple dress with a red hat. Okay. And that's where that comes from. Really? Okay. Because I've paid my dues my whole life. I'll take your word for it. Oh, trust me on this one. Cernak Buick following up with a couple of vintage cars. Beautiful cars from Northeast Center for Youth and Family. Right. They're located on East Street in Easthampton, and I tell you what, they have done a lot for us. Tomorrow, Sunday in the Park, they're volunteering a huge crew of folks that are going to help clean up. They made and copied all the coloring books for us. Yeah, that's that vintage coloring book we were talking about on the air yesterday. Right. Everybody's going to get a copy of that, I believe, right? Yes, we handed them out at the opening ceremonies. They're going to be available, too. We have another float coming up here. This is their float. And this is another bear on it. We have 2 bears in this. From the Bear Festival. From the Bear Festival. That's correct. Look at all this. All kinds of plants on there. That's driven by Omasta Landscaping. That is a nice-looking float. Playing the bongos. Now, do they have a competition for the best float on this thing? Or? We do not. Okay, good. We can do one right here, though, if you'd like. No, that's fine. Everybody's the winner in this parade. Coming up behind them is the train from Autumn Properties. You'll know Autumn Properties, owned by the Boyle family. Melissa Boyle, now Melissa Boyle Pike, is walking next to it. And it's this most adorable little choo-choo train loaded with children. It's also going to be at the Day in the Park tomorrow, giving rides to kids for free. Very nice. Autumn Properties, they do a lot for this town. They've built a lot of structures in this town and own a lot of property in the town. Easthampton Community Center following them. They're doing a lot of work on the pancake breakfast tomorrow, which, by the way,
is, I believe, free, and it starts at 9:30. We talked a little bit about that earlier, but definitely get out for that. Director Robin Bilecki is there for that.
Yeah, they're just doing some. And coming up, we have something pretty cool. A musical duo, Angeletti and Bruce Corona, are in a pickup truck, and they're singing. We'll be able to hear it in a minute. Bruce Corona has a musical studio here in town and does a lot of work, coordinates a lot of bands and everything. But they're standing in the back of the Jeep. Look at them playing there.
Also, Opa Opa just went by as well. Opa Opa from Southampton.
Yes.
Very, very active in Easthampton, though.
Very active. Being pulled, and it's famous in his family. If you go to Opa Opa and you see the big guy with the cowboy hat, he's even on some of the beer bottles. That's famous. This float was the grand prize winner of the Holyoke St. Patty's Day Parade. And let me tell you, people.
You can see why. It's
amazing.
It is
sparkling. I don't know, some kind of plastic decoration they made this with. It's a huge rainbow going into a pot of gold. And it is glistening.
Let me tell you how good Opa Opa's beer is. I went there with my wife for dinner one time, and she stole my beer. It's the first time she's ever stolen a beer in her life.
I prefer the Opa Opa blueberry beer myself.
Well, this was the watermelon, and she went nuts and took it. It was an ugly moment, but I just ordered another one. No big deal.
Well, there you go.
Great steak, great food, awesome place.
Everybody's waving to us. This float, I have to tell you, I wish you were here to see this, people.
Well, you can see it on TV if you're watching on TV, but if you're not on the radio...
And Easthampton Community Access Television won't be running this live, but they will be running this over and over on the TV. Coming up behind, we have Emily Williston Library Association.
First one in Easthampton goes back to 1792, that association. I'm betting the people marching weren't part of the association at that time, but... it originally was a private entity founded by Reverend Payson Williston and was initially housed...
in the parsonage.
Exactly.
And then his son, Sam Williston, Williston, Northampton here, he incorporated it. And then Emily Williston donated $16,000 for this library we currently have. It's on the National Historic Registry. Behind them, the East Village Cafe has a little dragon, like a Chinese dragon-looking puppet with 4 people walking around.
Now, these are very popular in parades in New York City. You see these a lot. But
exactly, and that's what they call the East Village Cafe.
Nice.
Here comes...
Now, here come these giant puppets we were talking about before.
That's right.
These are the ones that they're constructed a couple days ago. And then this, of course, the puppet in the trailer is the Willistons, the Williston couple, the original Williston couple.
Emily and Sam Williston are who are coming up. These puppets are gigantic. And in front of them is a replica, I believe, of the button factory that they started. They made cloth-covered buttons in town and pretty much started the whole industry around here and did a lot for this town. Oh, we have
some great workmanship there.
That is unbelievable. And businesses in this town donated all the supplies. Coming up behind this, who else but Casey Douglas?
Casey Douglas, the newest radio star in the Valley. He has a new radio show on our station, 9:30 Saturday mornings, called The Galaxy Grill. And every week, he and Kelsey go in the kitchen, and Casey makes a little dish, and it's an awesome radio show. It's like no other cooking show you've ever heard. And we're happy to have him on the radio with us.
It's a beautiful pickup truck, and behind it is the Apollo Grill rocket. It looks
we got a guy on a unicycle juggling.
Oh, here we go with the juggler. I believe he's called Screaming with Pleasure. He's not screaming, though.
Not at all.
He just heard me. He just let out a yell. We have somebody by the Apollo Grill float that's a swordsman. There's Casey waving to us.
There's Kelsey. There he is.
Here
Casey's
he comes.
Casey's coming over.
Here he comes. Bring food.
He's bringing coupons.
He's bringing coupons.
Hey, he's coming up to the broadcast facility. Got to say hi to Casey.
Yeah, it's the Galaxy Gourmet, looking for your vote.
There he is.
Fundraiser for the Friends of Children. The bear, that's Astronaut Bear. It was made last year for the Bear Project here. Right. And then we have trailing it is Phoenix Bear, the Rogue Bear.
All right.
That's the one that you wanted to hide and you got in trouble for.
Yeah, exactly.
Good. Here comes the cops.
Yeah, exactly.
Thanks, Casey. There he is. Casey, the Apollo Grill. Vote for Chef Casey. I'll tell you more about that in a second.
Yes.
But behind us, we have the Russell Fire Department coming through. And we also have a couple of fire trucks.
And a Russell Fire Chief is Michael Morrissey.
We should also mention that Casey Douglas is sponsoring the pie eating contest tomorrow.
Yes.
Which was a huge thing that they had before, and I guess it was so popular they decided to bring it back. Now the West Hampton Fire guys coming through, Southampton behind them.
I love West Hampton, too. Used to live there. Look at these guys walking.
Let me tell you something.
Hey, now.
there's a difference between a part-time fire department and a full-time one in a larger town.
Right.
These guys are on call all the time, and they're volunteers. And think about it, what it takes to volunteer to go into a burning building and save somebody. Talk about dedication to your craft.
Volunteer, and they've got their little radios on all the time. Doesn't matter if it's dinner, church, Thanksgiving, Christmas, they're there for us. This is
kind of like being in radio, only with a fire suit.
I love the radio. Westhampton Chief is Chris Norris. And then we've got Southampton making all the noise here. Chief Steve Hyde from Southampton. Engine number 3.
The great thing about the Outer Hamptons, like Southampton and Westhampton, is that you can live in a nice small community, even parts of Easthampton, and not be far from anything.
Correct.
That's the thing.
We're close to everything.
You can have the country life and still be close to all the good stuff.
Now, coming up behind is Lewis & Clark Pharmacy, one of our big sponsor of WHMP. They're housed in the Valley Medical Group building in Easthampton. They are reproducing Lewis & Clark Expedition. They've got their van following. They've got a little doggy there.
That's right.
I hope his feet aren't too hot. What do they have? They have coonskin hats on.
And they're throwing candy.
Uh-oh. They're throwing candy. Now, coming up, we have Look Park Police. This is their 1957 Jeep. Robert Ducharme is driving. And also with him is Rusty Williams. Rusty was the chief of police at Look Park when the Jeep was in use. God bless.
Of course, Look Park is such a great local resource and a beautiful area. Behind them is Glenn Loud, an Easthampton resident in a 1944 Jeep.
That's right. Beep, beep. What a beautiful day, folks. What an absolute beautiful day for a parade. We thank all our sponsors for letting us be here.
One of the great things about an event like this is you get to see a lot of good classic antique vehicles like the ones we're seeing coming through right now. The Big E, the upcoming National Convention of Antique Truck Shows at the Big E coming up. Actually, this is coming up in 2012.
And this is brought to you by Fenton Athletic Supply. It's a 1936 pickup. Oh, did you hear that horn? I hope they do it again. Fenton since 1924.
Strong Bus Corporation coming through. The Easthampton Public Schools. They provide the bus service for the Easthampton schools. We want to thank our sponsors, by the way. Fink & Paris Insurance, Easthampton Savings Bank, Easthampton McDonald's, Cernick Buick. We're hoping to talk to somebody from the Easthampton McDonald's coming up. Riffs Joint, Nicky D's, Cannon Real Estate, Flurry Lumber, and Richards Fuel and Heating are all the sponsors bringing you this live broadcast on WHMP and being joined by Easthampton Community Access Television.
So many people made this happen, Chris. It is unbelievable. Unbelievable. All the donations, monetary donations, we were able to make this thing affordable for everybody and mostly free.
Well, like Sunday's family event, I mean, that park's going to be open. $1 hot dogs, $1 burgers.
Pancake breakfast.
Pancake breakfast. You got the vintage baseball game at noon. I mean, just
That's right here at Nonotuck Park. It starts tomorrow morning at 9. And Then Breakfast D.C. donated us a 5-day trip to Washington, D.C. for a family of 4. All you have to do is drive into the park, stop at the toll booth. You don't have to pay to get in. You get a little red ticket. If you're accompanied with a child and you're still there when they do the drawing later, you have a chance to win. No money.
Beautiful.
No money.
Cernick Fuel coming through with their vans and one of their tanker trucks and a couple of people at the lead front.
Yeah, Cernick has continuously been owned and operated by the Cernick family since 1935, and they're celebrating their 75th anniversary this year. They're located right across from where the new Stop and Shop is going to be, right next to Cernick.
Okay, now we got the Easthampton Congregational Church following them. This float is a replica of the original church built by members and youth groups, honoring the past and looking toward the future.
Easthampton Congregational Church had an ice cream social last night, and right now on the end of the street they're selling hot dogs, hamburgers, and drinks to everybody. Really nice. Real nice float. That's a beautiful replica with music playing. 1785 to 2010, and it's because of them we had to have a church to become
That's right.
a city.
That's how it became a city.
Beautiful music, if you can hear it. Morning is broken.
Now behind them we have the kazoo band, the Corona Production Band, 30 kazoos. Let's see if I can pick up some of this as well.
Oh This is a rascally bunch we have here. How many would you say we have? 50 people?
I'd say at least.
I see Kim Stedward Hackworth. There she goes. Oh, she just did a whistle for us.
And we got the sports teams coming through now. The Easthampton Little League, softball, baseball. A lot of fond memories from Little League, I'll tell you.
Yeah, you were big with the sports, huh?
I was, and the coaches, I think, have as much fun as the kids do. A lot of coaches out there as well, devoting their time to helping these kids learn how to play this game the right way.
Exactly. The sportsmanship, the teamwork, you know. And it's great for the parents, too. I'm a lipstick-wearing hockey mom. You know that,
Yes,
though.
I know you are. Absolutely.
We're so glad you're joining us on the air at WHMP. And I believe this is going to be podcast, perhaps, with video.
Yeah, we're working that out. But definitely the podcast, the audio will be up later today, hopefully.
WHMP.com.
We've got behind the Little League baseball players, the softball players, the soccer leagues. They got youth football. Of course, Easthampton High School has a tremendous football program.
The Eagles.
This program feeds a lot of those older programs.
And you know what's interesting down here is you have school of choice. I was in New Hampshire for 21 years. We don't have school of choice. So my son goes to Westhampton High School. He plays on the Easthampton hockey team.
Right.
So kids can go to other schools and still play on these teams. And it's just a wonderful camaraderie. Hey, did I just hear a cannon?
I think you heard something.
Or is that your stomach growling? Are you hungry?
Either one. I'm not sure. I think it was a cannon, though.
I'm not sure what that was.
Soccer players, football players coming through. They got all kinds of people making their way down the main drag here in Easthampton for the big 225th anniversary parade. Hopefully we're not going to lose our tent.
No.
As we have a little gust going through here.
No, and everybody's happy. There's flags out. Here comes some more cheerleaders.
This breeze is a godsend, too.
We got the tent up for you.
And the Pop Warner cheerleaders, too. Let's not forget them.
No. Coming up, one of my favorite groups, the Easthampton Rod and Gun Club. You should see where they're housed, Chris. They are right on the Connecticut River. What a beautiful spot. I've got president is Matt Bishop, vice president Larry Carney, the dock master, or as they say in Maine, the Haba master, Dave Daisy Kiesick. There's 170 members. They do the annual fishing derby on the pond.
Right. Now, this year they couldn't do it because the pond was just restocked, but I believe they run for next year. I'm pretty sure.
Something just ran. We just had something down there. It was fantastic. They support the NRA and the Second Amendment right to own guns. They stock local waterways with fish.
Yeah, nice little
Here they come.
boat there.
The ATVs. I love it.
Being pulled by an
Oh,
ATV.
boy. We got everything going off here, folks. Now, that's what the noise is. It's a stunt truck coming up that I'm a little nervous. I yelled at Kevin Perrier about this. Please don't hit anybody. Easthampton Rod and Gun Club. They have children. They have a boat. They have flags. We have ATVs.
Very youth-oriented group, too. I mean,
we have a little lull in the action.
Oh no.
This, Kevin Perrier owns Five Star Building. He has a stunt truck that's on two wheels, blowing off cannons.
Yeah, that's the cannon from the stunt truck. They're doing donuts in the middle of the street.
Folks, you remember a tilt-a-whirl? Doesn't it look like a tilt-a-whirl?
If you did that any other time of the day, you'd get arrested, but
Marge Petrus.
It's a parade.
Marge Petrus has got to be dying along with the rest of us parade organizers. The cops are saying, we had no idea about this. Oh, my word.
Now we just have to hope that the guy driving that thing knows what he's doing, because in front of him is a smart car. And if that thing collides with a smart car, we're going to have a casualty.
The smart car is by the Log Cabin Delaney House. Oops. It's by the Log Cabin Delaney House. This truck, I don't know. I don't know what to say about this, folks. Is this like an old Ford? He's got flags, people. When I get hold of him, he is in so much trouble.
My notes have blown away, so I'll have to share with you.
Okay, no problem.
That is crazy. The Hatfield Hellion. 5 Star Building Corporation.
Oh, my goodness. These guys. Oh. I'm waiting for him to make eye contact with me so I could yell at him. Oh my goodness. We're speechless. This is like...
Now, they're just mugging for the camera now.
I'm waiting for like 25 clowns to come out and say, "Get out of here, Kevin."
That's hilarious.
I just gave him the boot.
All right, coming up behind them is Domino's Pizza, owned by Dave Porter.
This Domino's Pizza is really cool. I mean, it's right on the corner, right by Big E's. Wow, that was a lot of noise.
Yes, it was.
I think I'm going to have to go to Lewis and Clark Pharmacy and get some aspirin. Oh, dear Jesus.
Behind them is Big Y.
The Southampton Big Y
employees.
Big Y has helped out so much. They've helped out with a lot of things. They're a big sponsor of the 225.
Behind them, the Oxbow Water and Ski Team.
Yeah, the Oxbow Water Ski Team, they do shows all over the country. And you go down right to Oxbow Marina. It's beautiful. You could just sit down there and park and watch them on the waters. You can watch them practice. It's very soothing.
And they're water skiing with rollerblades, it looks like. That's what that looks like.
Yeah, the Dudas run the Oxbow Marina, and they're very instrumental in that.
Thank you very much.
Thanks you so much.
The Oxbow brought by one of their...
9-time and Rain and Eastern Regional Champions. Oh, here we have bicyclists. All-out adventures. What they have is this handicapped bicycles. They have tandem bicycles. Some bicycles have 4 wheels that are very close to the ground.
And they have the very famous recumbent bicycles where you can actually sit back. Right.
Correct. Okay, we have Nikki D's. We have the Nikki D's vehicle. Nikki D's is a proud sponsor of WHMP's 225. And behind them, something that was one of the first things I was able to get for this parade, Eric Carle Museum. Anybody who's a mommy or a daddy with little ones knows the Very Hungry Caterpillar book. And we were going to have the Very Hungry Caterpillar here. However, it's just a little too hot.
Yeah.
But what a treat. This is a little VW bug, and it's painted like the Very Hungry Caterpillar.
For sure, yeah. Behind them, the Easthampton Family Center.
Yes. Easthampton Family Center is going to be helping with a lot of the games. They're going to be doing a lot of the games, the old-fashioned games like hula hoop stuff, egg toss, and things like that at the park tomorrow. And, folks, just because you can't be here today, tomorrow in Nonotuck Park, if you're not sure where that is, it's down by Easthampton High School, and you go down by the pond. Pancake breakfast starts at 9:30. There's going to be a vintage game.
All right, now the Downing brothers behind us in a flatbed. Let's see if we can pick up some of this music.
All right, I'm going to dance. Coming up next, we have something.
I've been waiting for this. This is the Hot Buttered Elves coming up the road here.
They do a performance once a year for the Toy Fund in Easthampton. This is area musicians that do their own individual thing, but they come together and put on a show like at the Brass Cat or something. They've raised over $20,000 for the Toy Fund. They have wreaths in their hubcaps. Santa Claus is on the front.
Let's pick up some of this.
Oh, they just said, "What's up, WHMP?"
It's Christmas in June in downtown Easthampton.
We have Santa Claus in a hula hoop skirt and everything.
Yeah, we got the Flywheel from Easthampton coming up the road here with the drums. Let's pick up some of this. And it looks like, if I'm not mistaken, that is it. That's the end of the parade, it looks like.
One of the biggest parades that we've had. Went off without a hitch. The weather was great. I'm happy. I appreciate Easthampton Savings Bank for letting us sit here.
In fact, Kelsey, we're going to take a quick break, and we're going to hear from Easthampton Savings Bank, and we're going to come back and wrap things up on the Easthampton 225th Parade on WHMP. News, information, and the arts.